Hello, everyone, and welcome to a very special edition of the Falcon and the Winter Soldier spoiler free review. I am your host, Dana Abercrombie. I'm the entertainment editor over at the Koalition.com. That is the Coalition with a K. And I am joined by Mr. Richard Bailey Jr. How are you doing, Mr. Richard?
Doing good, Dana. What's up, listeners and viewers?
And I am joined by a very special person, Mr. Tony Polanco from the Throwdown.
I love the way you say my name. It's fantastic. I am doing great. I'm ready to talk about a good comic book adaptation today.
He's already starting with the feud. But yes, we are here to talk about, I would say, a brilliant so far comic book TV series, and that is the Falcon and the Winter Soldier. And as we know, this really quick, it takes place right after Endgame. This is described as the honeymoon phase is over. People have already returned home that was missing for the last 5 years. All the celebrations and the cheers, that's kind of over with. And everyone is settling back into a life that they missed for the last 5 years because of the blip or the snap. And so we follow both Sam Wilson, who was everyone knows as the Falcon, and we follow Mr. Bucky Barnes, who is now settling in as James Buchanan, which I thought was a really nice thing how they did with that. And right away, we have a mixture of really great action sequences that starts off right away, and then it kind of settles down, and we get a really intimate look at the characters, what their life is, life at home, life trying to create a home. And so I was wondering, we'll start with you, Mr. Richard Bailey. What did you think of this episode?
Oh, well, I thought this was an excellent opening episode. And I want to say this, and let me go ahead and say, no offense to WandaVision, but I love when they get right to the action, jump right into the story. I don't need all this buildup of this is how we have to go about this roundabout way to explain what's happening. I thought it was fantastic, and especially, I'm an action person, so obviously, yeah, thumbs up.
And what about you, Mr. Polanco?
Yeah, pretty much I echo what Rich said. Like, don't get me wrong, love me some WandaVision, but it took me till like the fourth episode where I'm like, okay, I think I like this. The first 3 episodes, I'm like, what is going on here? This show, 2 minutes. I'm like, yo, this is hype. This is what I wanted. I appreciate what WandaVision does, very original stuff. I don't really want original, man. I want stuff that I like. This was like right there in your face. I even liked it before the action started. Like when my man, Falcon was putting on his suit, regular suit. Look at the show. I'm like, this is already hype. Granted, I may feel that way because I came off some horrible the night before, but we're not going to talk about that right now. But this show, everything that happened, the storylines going on, the setup, fantastic. So we're going to get deeper into that. But I loved it. I thought it was great.
I'm sorry. So much between the Wanda slander and then the other slander. It's a lot of slander. But I liked WandaVision, especially for what it did, and I'm okay with there not being much action. But what I really did like about this is that everything was grounded in reality. There was no one popping up saying Mephisto, except for the bank guy. That was Mephisto. But this was something that was really great and grounded into reality. And so, right from the beginning, it starts off with, like you were saying, this incredible action sequence. We are fighting, what is it, the AVF, I believe, LVF. And, they're a group of terrorists who wants the world to go back how it was during the blip so that, one, they can profit off of that. And, as Sam said, was basically like, when one side wants to win, another side has to lose. And I thought there was a lot of undertones with that as well. And, it's one of those movies, TV shows where it really did feel like the movie, where we got that great action sequence. We were in a whole nother country, and we know that Sam is now he's working with, what is it? One of the army, not the army, one of the militaries, and he's living life during that. And then we switch over to Bucky, and Bucky is kind of looks like he's in New York City or someone's city, and we see him. He's settled down. He's in therapy now, which is something that the character greatly needs. And so I was wondering, how did you guys feel about that aspect of, Sam is out there doing his action stuff while Bucky is kind of at home doing the work inside?
Rich.
Richard?
No. Well, yeah, I think you definitely had to explain how Bucky was going through things afterward, because I know we've seen in the other Marvel movies, the character obviously still dealing with a lot of the trauma that he encountered. So I think, yeah, as to go along with what you said, Dana, about it being grounded in reality, I feel like they had to show, yeah, he's getting counseling. I think it was interesting that he played a role in killing the son of the guy who he's now helping out, which is obviously, so he feels some guilt about that still. And my guess is that eventually he will have to confess that to him. I guess, I don't know. But yeah, I think they needed to show that as far as giving us a realistic portrayal of Bucky. He has no family, no girlfriend. Yeah, he had a date or attempted to have a date in this episode, but he's a loner. So yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah, with the whole Bucky thing, I liked, because again, yeah, I kind of dumbly forget, like, he's like Captain America. He's a man out of time, and the show kept showing you that. I really enjoyed that. He was like, "You act like my father," yeah, because he's acting like an old man, even though he's like 20-ish something, 30-ish or whatever. Like, he's an old man. He's from another time. So I really like the fact that the show showed that. And then the whole thing with his therapist was kind of cool, and then you find out she's a soldier too, so she kind of understands. But that woman was kind of sassy too, though. Like, you gotta chill. Like, this a trained killer. You better watch out what you're saying, But I did like how he was trying to like redeem himself. He's going through a list of like people and stuff, either people that he harmed or that he helped. That was kind of cool. So they went through that, and then the whole Sam thing. I like how it was showing you like what a hero has to deal with outside of the heroing, because think about it, like, yo, how are these guys funded? Like in this world, obviously Tony Stark funded them, but Tony Stark ain't around no more, so they got to deal with all that. The scenes with his sister were kind of cool. I like that, showing his life at home or whatever. He's still trying to like lead a normal life, even though he was just gone all this entire time and stuff. So that was really good. And but it didn't seem like it was like ham-fisted. It felt like it was a part of the narrative, and then obviously, we had that fantastic intro, which was like straight out of a movie, just showing you. I don't know what I don't know if it was the Air Force he's part of. He's helping. I'm not 100% sure. I'm gonna just assume because he's flying around, so that was cool. And I'm like, I was surprised by how much it's for both, because Bucky, he was in New York in the beginning. I wasn't sure, but then they showed like Brooklyn Bridge. I'm like, okay, I know where he is now right now. But I like how, aside from Bucky, like, yo, my man Sam is all over the place. That was pretty dope. And then we got some hints of them. I'm gonna keep screwing up that name because they're not in the comics, and then like those three letters are weird. AFL, whatever, whatever. That was kind of cool because you're right. It's like, okay, the world just went through this big traumatic event. It needs to be popped up, and WandaVision did a good job of that too with Monica Rambeau, like she's dealing with the ramifications of the snap, and I thought that was really cool how, because I never thought about, like, oh yeah, there would be like a group that wants things to go back to the way they were, so that was really well done. So I think this episode did a great job of just setting up these little things and keeping us intrigued and keeping the action going.
Yeah, it was also really interesting because they said the group, the borders were all open and the government was basically in shambles. This also includes the economic infrastructure. Everything was just a hot mess during those 5 years. And what is really interesting, backtracking just a little bit, when the action dies down and we go to the memorial service of Steve Rogers, Captain America, who, is missing. We don't exactly, we know what happened to him, but the public, they kept that silent. So he's either, missing, or maybe he's been killed in action, or we just don't know, but we do know that it was that big battle that brought everyone back. So I thought that it was a really interesting way to kind of leave the door open for Steve Rogers in case, I don't know, multiverse.
They just get him from the moon, right? Get him from the moon.
Get him from the moon, which a lot of people didn't know that was from a reference from the other movies. Some people thought it was from Inhumans.
I thought, you could tell me, but I thought it was a reference to how in the comics, Nick Fury, the regular old Nick Fury, the white Nick Fury, he's actually on the moon watching out over Earth. So I thought that was a reference. But what did you think it was a reference to? Because maybe it was from the actual movies.
Oh, I completely slipped my mind. I thought it was.
Okay, never mind.
I was like, Watchmen? How do we get the
No. Yeah. So I just thought that's what I thought. I'm like, oh, it's like a little nod to the comics. Like there's a watcher up there watching over us on the moon. It could be Watcher himself, Owadu. But that'd be kind of fun. But yeah, no, I agree with what you said. There's like it's cool how they brought all these things together, and they're just keeping that story forward. Because again, it's like what happened during those 5 years. They're not going to do this obviously, but it would be kind of cool if they did a series on those 5 years, just seeing how things played out for the whole world.
You know what? When I interviewed Kevin Feige, which should be up by the site now,
Yep.
When I interviewed him, he did say that all of the shows will have ripple effects, and what we didn't see in one show, we will see in the next show. So keep that in mind. That should be a good thing to look out for. Maybe, Kamala Khan, because she's so young, the show looks a hot mess, but
and also Kamala Khan, because they need to show something that actually is good on the show, since you said it looks a hot mess.
It's just pictures that we've seen so far, but those pictures, they're a little questionable. They kind of just make me wonder, are the clothes even fitting right? But we'll see. But going back with that scene, he was missing, and it also brings up the point. It is very important that Sam, even though we know at the end of Endgame, here's the shield. I want you to be the next one. And Bucky was like, you got it, dude. And, he kind of said very from the beginning, it feels like someone else's. This is something that he does not want, not necessarily because he's so used to, that's Captain America. This is my captain. I don't feel comfortable taking his spot. I don't know how to be what you are. And I thought that was we all know that's a very important scene when the whole thing plays out. But I liked how they carried through, and it wasn't like, right away how we thought when he's going to fly in that air, he's going to bring out the shield. This is him going through that journey, or maybe later on forced into that journey of taking up the mantle. I don't know. How did you feel about that, Richard?
Yeah, I thought, once again, a very realistic approach to the situation. It's not like the character just instantly said, yes, I'm going to take up the mantle right away. No questions asked. He has to have some type of reservations and doubts. Of course, I think everyone believes that by the end of, I don't know by the end of this season, but obviously we do feel eventually he will take up the mantle. Him or Bucky, or maybe they will work together, and, who knows? But I thought it was a very realistic approach. I mean, he has his own things that he's trying to get back to, as far as helping his sister, his family out. So yeah, but I guess he doesn't quite see himself yet as the best person to become the next Captain America, which makes sense. So
I'm so glad I read the title of this thing, spoiler free, because I was about to spoil some. Because I got a comment about the end, right?
No, we can spoil that. Was a wrong banner.
Spoiler free. I'm like,
you should see. I have like a multitude of different banners.
Yeah.
And that was the wrong banner.
Oh, okay, so we can spoil, right? We're good.
We can go dive in there and we can spoil. I mean, that's the whole point.
This is what I loved, right? Because I will say this first. When he was up there giving a speech, I'm like, do it, brother. Let's go, man. Pick up that shield, man. Let's fucking go. Let's do this. I wanted him to take that shield, right? But when he didn't do it, I'm like, okay, but we got a whole season, Tony. Chill out, wait for it, right? But narratively, it made sense for him. He didn't feel right. And he said at the beginning, this is somebody else's shield. But my man was feeling some type of way at the end.
Yeah.
You could tell. He was like, man, that should have been me, son. Who's this white motherfucker taking this shit? That should have been me right now.
I never got that feeling though. My feeling was like I was automatically disgusted, and I thought that even though Sam didn't want it, I still think that he still doesn't want it, and he might now have to be pressured into having it. But to me, it was just like a disrespect on the legacy, because to us regular people who in the world, that's just a guy who needs he's just a guy who was a superhero. It doesn't really have that type of meaning and legacy. But, to him, he was in battle with him. That's his captain. And, just to watch the government, and you kind of understand why the government does it, even though it's terrible. The world is kind of hopeless at this point, and they need something to believe in. And to me, it kind of seems like the Avengers disbanded, even if it's temporarily, because you see everybody's working with their own problems. You saw Wanda is busy, turning into Scarlet Witch and brain
Kidnapping people.
kidnapping people, and still don't know where the kids are. So, she's busy doing that. Vision, I don't know what is going on with that, but everyone is doing their own little side thing. And so the world, when you're a superhero, if not to say like DC, but kind of like you see Superman, and he represents that hope and that legacy. And now that's gone. You need something to bring that back. But at the same time, it was really disrespectful to have this, 98-cent brand Captain America step in.
Dollar Tree Captain America. I'm glad you said that, because I was literally about to get to that. Like, because my initial impression was like, Falcon was like, bruh, it should have been me. But at the same time, now you brought it up, I did think about like maybe he, and it's probably what is the actual answer. He's probably like, yo, man, that's mad disrespectful, bruh. Like, and then you can see why because remember, they thanked him. Thank you for giving the shield back to us. They thanked him. Why did they thank him? Because they wanted the shit back to give it to this dude, By the way,
I never thought of that.
Like, it tied it all together. I'm like, oh, that's why they wanted that shield back, because they had plans already. They didn't just suddenly decide we want Captain America. They had that plan. Like, yo, we need another Captain America. Can't be this black motherfucker. Let's do it. Let's be real. They're gonna go down that route.
They are. They're doing that. They're doing, because we even saw that with the bank.
Yep.
And the bank scene, that was so important, and I loved how they showed. One, it also touches on how do you make your money in the government contracts. I never thought of that before. They make their money through government contracts. I was upset that Tony didn't at least leave a will or some kind of trust to them. I mean, at least Pepper Potts could have, lend them some money or something. But the fact that we now see no longer Falcon, even though he did that whole, I don't know how to properly say this without using certain terms, but you're people of color, both of you, men, you got to play up that extra nicety and, try to blend in and not scare anybody. And, you code switch and Captain, I'm Falcon, and really play that up.
Yeah, right. Dance for me, monkey. You know what I'm saying? Like that. Like
the shucking and the driving and
that shit. Yo, that shit pissed me off when he did that shit. Because to him, he just saw like Falcon as like pretty much like a puppet. Like, just dance for me. Shuck and junk, like you said, right? But like, oh, you want this money? No, we can't do that. But take a selfie with me though, like, bruh.
That's
right. But I like the way they handle it, because I'm not going to name any names, but there's some shows out there and some literature which handles that so badly. This did it perfectly because it was real. So I was really well done. I really, really like that, even though it's fucked up. But the way they portrayed it was good. But and I didn't think about it as I was on the show. But it's like, that's why they didn't want him to be Captain America. Let's be real here. Let's be real. They didn't want him to be with Captain America because he's black. Let's just be honest here. They'd be better off, not better off. They would prefer Bucky, the fucking killer, over Sam, who's loyal to his country, and that's messed up. And I really hope the show delves into that with that same level of like complexity that this episode demonstrated. That was really well done. But that now that I think about it, that's a very, and I think it's supposed to be angering. That scene, it's like, all right, take a selfie with me, whatever, but you ain't getting this fucking money. It's like, bro. Come on, man. This motherfucker saved the earth. You can't give him a loan.
All of the earth.
All the earth. No, I'm going to go even further. I'm going to go even further because it's real. Not only the earth, half the universe. Right? No, you can't get this money. Bro.
And the plants and the ecosystems and the birds. Remember the birds returned?
Yep.
Everything. That's cold.
Come on, man. It's fucked up. So that's cool that they're doing that. But
they are.
But just quickly, I don't know. I could be wrong, but I think that Captain America, he might be U.S. agent. If you guys don't know from the comics, check him out. He's kind of like a really fucked up version of Captain America. Like in the comics, he was Captain America for a while. He was straight laced or whatever, but he became really crazy, really right wing, crazy motherfucker. So it'll be interesting to see that played out if they play that out in the show.
Well, you know what? And I don't like to compare shows, but you have to have a show that's groundbreaking in order for other people to follow through. Yeah. I honestly feel that because of The Boys and they went full Nazi, that we may get to see that version of the new Captain America and what he really is.
Yeah, from the storyline. Yeah, maybe it could happen. the Empire story. I forget the name of it, but yeah, when Captain America pretty much turned into a Nazi, took over the whole country. I don't know if the show's gonna go that far, but that'd be interesting. But yeah, I really like those kind of like undertones there with Falcon. They're playing that very, very well.
Mm-hmm. So also, we had the bank situation, and also we're dealing with his family. This is a family dynamic. The sister and his nieces, no, sorry, his nephews, who were babies when he left, and now they're they're full grown teenagers, essentially. And his sister has kind of moved on without him, but it's not really anything new because she talked about how he was never really there to begin with because he was out saving the world or out joining the force, and now he's trying to. I would equate it to like, when dad finally comes home after all these years and he wants to be dad again. And so that's kind of like the role that Sam is trying to play, even though he's been gone for so long and he thinks that he can just come in and save the world. And as we all saw, use his fame and how that is just not working anymore. So I was wondering from both of you, what do you think the next step would be for him, Richard?
Oh, what, to gain notoriety?
To get back into with the family, and now that he can't even get a loan, which is relatable because they suddenly changed the laws all of a sudden. What do you think his next step would be?
Well, that's a great question. I actually, if I had to make a guess, obviously we see what else is happening within the actual storyline and the introduction of this group that they're going to have to watch out for.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if this issue. My assumption is that the issue is going to continue to escalate, and the government is going to ask him and Bucky to get involved and try and help to take care of the situation. That is my guess as to how he can help, because it is a government contract. If he's getting paid, he can send money to the family. But again, it would be the whole thing of him once again leaving the family. And that's what his sister mentioned, that she has gotten used to him not being around and not being able to help out because he's always saving the world. So that is the irony of it, though. And that is part of the risk of the job itself. So that is the only way I could think of he'll be able to help them out financially. But we'll see how involved the government wants to get involved with this particular incident here that's going on.
Yeah, I do want to see how they're gonna like tie Falcon's personal story with the main story, because you're right, there's an opportunity there for them to do that, but I like the drama it causes, right? Because on the one hand, you got Falcon, he's been away for 5 years, he wants to go back to his life, and he doesn't like the fact that his sister is like trying to rip apart of their childhood, right? But at the same time, she was there for 5 years struggling. So she's also in the right to be like, yo, I'm going to sell this boat if I need to. I got to make this money, And obviously, just seeing based on the way she acts, you could tell she doesn't want a handout. She wants to just earn things on her own. So that's going to be a really cool dynamic. I don't want to speculate on how that's going to end, but I do want to see how it ties into the main narrative here, because I'm going to just assume it's not going to be just some like, hey, here's Falcon's random stuff that happens. Like, I think it's going to tie in, even though it does show some good like character moments showing the kind of person he is, and even the way he was raised. Like his sister has integrity, the kids are well raised and all that. By the way, I'm just saying that because my sister, man, she can't raise them kids for nothing. But that's another story, But it's good seeing that, So yeah, it's going to be cool to see that, and then obviously because he has his journey is going to be different than Bucky's. He needs to learn how to trust people, open up, right? Falcon is already there. He's already there. That's not his thing. He just needs to just learn that, like, okay, you do need to be around to help people, but people don't always need your help. So it's going to be kind of cool to see how all that plays out.
Right. I agree. Also, I was kind of wondering, I know it touched on race. It also was going to touch, like we said, they both have a shared PTSD. They're both technically soldiers. And it kind of mirrors how we can see the treatment of how they treat U.S. soldiers today. And how, there are a lot of things that is not available to them, such as basic things like therapy. And we see that Bucky is getting that kind of treatment. But I was wondering with Sam, being a Black man and everything that he's gone through, do you kind of see him also getting, we know that he later on ends up in therapy with Bucky. We've seen that through the trailers. I was wondering, do you think that they'll be able to kind of not necessarily work out their issues, but make peace at what happened with them in their lives.
Rich.
Anyone?
You mean as far as what's going on in their personal lives? Will they be
Yes.
able to make peace? Yeah. I mean, like Tony mentioned, it's hard to really speculate on what's going to happen with the sister in the whole boat situation. Part of me feels that, it will, I feel like Sam eventually is going to come to grips with the fact that he should just let his sister sell the boat. But again, I don't really know how they're going to handle that situation. But in terms of, I kind of feel like this, like Tony already mentioned, we know what the story is in terms of Bucky and what his goal is of this season. I feel like Sam's goal is to get closer to the family, to get back to being the person that he wants to be there for them instead of saving everyone else. How they get there, it's hard to really determine, because obviously he's still going to be needed to save the day. And if he does eventually take up the mantle of Captain America, I would imagine, well, he's going to be very busy. He may not have a lot of time for his family. So it's hard, tricky to really decipher how they're going to handle that. But I definitely feel like it will be resolved as the season progresses. But they didn't announce the second season for this yet, did they?
No, what is going to happen? The interview is up now with Kevin Feige.
Yeah. You already know. Plug it. That's what I'm talking about. Kevin Feige, what's up? What y'all got, man? You ain't got this? Anyway.
Basically, there are going to be, he did not say yes, but he did not say no. And he did say that, some shows will have multiple seasons. We're looking at 3 to 4 seasons. And that the characters and the storylines will bounce back and forth between different shows and the movies.
Okay. So it may not necessarily have to be a definitive conclusion to whatever is happening with Sam's family, but I kind of feel like, I could see him taking up the mantle at the end of the season, and that could be the jumping off point for whatever happens next for the characters moving forward. But I don't know. It's hard to say, but I'm curious to hear what you and Tony believe will happen.
Yeah, I mean, when it comes to Falcon and Winter Soldier working out their differences, you already know what's going to happen, right? The beginning, it's going to be like roses with thorns, prickling each other, trying to come together. They're going to have their issues or whatever. Like, obviously, they work well together in the field, but like in domestically, that's a whole different story. So the issues are definitely going to be popping up. I think Winter Soldier is probably more of the problem. Let's just be real here. That dude's messed up, so. That's going to be kind of interesting. I didn't realize that Falcon was going to be in therapy, because I was like, my man, he's good, he's chilling. But that's good. I guess he can help Bucky out or whatever. Bucky needs it, But obviously, by the end of I'm not going to say they're going to resolve their issues, but I think they're going to get to a point of understanding, and that's when they really work well together. There may even be some scenes out in the field where they start bumping heads or whatever, but then they resolve their issues or whatever. And then some of these things may even come home, come home to Bucky, come home to Falcon, who knows? It'll be kind of cool to see how those two characters play out, because it's like the show is literally called Falcon and Winter Soldier. We got to see all aspects of these guys. You know what I'm saying? Like, see them growth as people. But I'm going to assume that if there are going to be multiple seasons of this show, we're going to see some kind of resolution to this specific season, and then obviously any following ones will get like a new set of drama that happens, and then that pops up. But I think we'll see some good. I think this is going to be a very satisfying show. It's going to take some twists and turns, but ultimately we're probably going to get what we really kind of want out of this, which is like a really kick-ass, action-driven, like buddy cop type of thing. If you saw the description in Disney, even says the buddy. Because that's what it is. It's two. But what is a buddy? It's not cops, obviously, but this buddy soldiers, I guess. Same, but it's also the same structure of romance, believe it or not. Two people come together, they can't get along, blah, 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 and then they come to respect each other. So we're going to see that play out. It's going to be, really fun, because obviously Sam, he's some more well adjusted of the two, so he's probably going to add some like kind of comedy and shit, try to work things out. Bucky's going to be like,
we saw Bucky trying to be a little jokey joke,
a little bit,
he's rusty. So.
Yeah, he's trying. He said he's trying. And I do want to see the resolution with the Japanese man, because that to me that was a little bit too like, oh shit, that's the son he killed, bro. Because at first I was wondering like, okay, you got this old ass man there. Is he like a war buddy or something? Because Captain America had war buddies too. Remember, Captain America had the old ass dudes, for war buddies. Those are his friends. I was like, is that a war buddy from back then? But he wasn't in Japan. What's going on here? But then you find out, he's befriending my man because he killed his son. I just want to go know if we're gonna, link up with that Japanese girl. She was fine as fuck. Like Bucky, bro. Don't let it pass, man. She's willing and able, man. Let's go, son. You need some of that. I'm just saying, Bucky. You get some of that in you, bro, or you get yourself into some of that, you'll be all right. A little bit. But Falcon, I don't know if they're going to bring up any romance stuff with him. He's all right. I see him as the more well-adjusted guy. He just needs to just accept shit like, bro, the world's moved on. You got to adjust with it, but also make your stand on it because you can't be taking no bullshit from these government assholes either, So that's going to be interesting. Bucky, I wonder how he's going to deal with the government. Like, is he just going to go along with things like he used to when he was a Winter Soldier, or what? So that's going to be a really good dynamic too. Like maybe the government will ask him to do something. Bucky be like, "All right, let's do this," because he's a soldier, and Falcon's like, "Fuck that," So that'll be kind of cool to see that play out if it happens that way.
But every time that he did something for the government, it backfired terribly, and he ended up brainwashed.
Yeah, so and Falcon could be like, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Falcon be like, yo, they did this. Look what they did to you a million times.
Right, so
man.
I can't see Bucky being like, yeah, sign me up. I could see him running away. Like, no.
I hope he does.
But I think that the fact that they turned, we got 50 Cent, Quarter Water, Steve Rogers, that would kind of give him that incentive to be like, what's going on? I'm fighting everybody.
Yeah. Yo, by the way, on Twitter, some people have been posting this. They put the Captain America's mask on the old man from Up. It looks just like this dude. Got the same big nose, jaw. Like, wow. Dollar Tree Captain America, man. Nah, can't be having that. I want to know what Bucky feels about that. Like, you saw this chumpy ass dude on TV. He must not be happy. He must be looking at this dude like, yo, I got a better jaw than that, man. What's up? Get me. Anyway.
Or is this all another broadcast of WandaVision and he doesn't really exist?
It could be, My man was looking at what's the name of Black Vision? What do they call him on Twitter now?
Oh, Vishon.
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 My man was chilling. Anyway.
So with everything that's going on, we talked about the terrorists, the flag smashers, who, their goal is that we have open borders again. We have the New World Order, where everything's under that one flagship. I was wondering, do you see this as a theme that's going to be carried out throughout if there is multiple seasons, or do you see this being done and over with in the 6 episodes?
I think they're going to end them on this season, but some remnants will probably be trickling out afterwards. I don't know because I think they want to bring at least the main plot to some kind of resolution, but you know how it is with these superhero like properties. Like they defeat the bad guy, but there's something else going on.
My brother, you killed my brother.
Yeah, exactly. So they'll probably do that. So I want to see how they play out, and I want to know what's up with that main dude. Like, where'd he get his powers from? Because like as soon as he made that landing, I'm like, oh, hold on here. What's going on? Then he kicked that one.
I was wondering if that was relation to the serum. Maybe if they were able to duplicate the serum.
Yeah.
Because he shouldn't be that strong.
No.
And I don't think we're having mutants. So
no. I'm glad you said that because I was thinking about I think whatever enhanced him is gonna enhance that fake Captain America too.
Yep.
That's what I think is going to happen.
His costume didn't fit at all.
Yeah, no, it didn't. It was all like loose and everything, So yeah, I think it's got to be some artificial. I don't think it's like he was born like that. I think it's something artificial,
Mm-hmm. Richard.
By the way, those are excellent points. Only 2 quick things I will add. I'm a little surprised in the officer that stopped the serum guy. Well, tried to get close enough to the serum guy after seeing someone get knocked out the way the other guy did. That this guy has he has a lot more brains than I don't know what's the correct terminology. He doesn't really think too heavily. He was just thinking, I got to get close to this guy, and because if it was me and I saw this guy just throw someone up against this cord like he threw that guy, there's no way in hell I would be coming anywhere near close to that guy. But he's still. I got to find out who this guy is. I got to get the footage so I could send it to Sam. So I thought that was very interesting. To answer your question about do I think this New World Order will exist past this season. It's a possibility for sure. I think Tony made a good point that it could still be remnants of those people that exist, because again, you're only seeing the group on the surface level. There has to obviously be someone that's in charge of the group, and I think that person definitely is going to probably be around for a lot longer. But we'll have to wait and see. But hopefully, if it is around, or if it doesn't, if they get rid of the whole New World Order thing, hopefully it's not because there is a lawsuit pending with WWE for the WCW and New World Order, NWO. Hopefully that's not what the case is. But yeah, we'll see.
Tony's like, what's that?
No, I know exactly what you're talking about. I'm not that ignorant. Come on now. That was back when I used to watch wrestling on NWO,
Yeah.
It was glorious back then. See, it was run by Hulk Hogan. It's all his fault.
Yep.
Oh yeah. Yep.
But is there any kind of final thoughts that you thought about this first episode from any of you?
Yeah, no, I thought it was fantastic. I'm looking forward to it. Again, it's exactly what I wanted, right? Like I wanted action-packed thriller show that felt like a mini movie every episode. I got just that and a little bit more, because you see the depth they're adding in there, when it comes to race and all that, family dynamics, dealing with trauma. So good. So yeah, that's my final thought. Like, keep watching this, people. It's going to be fantastic. This is going to be good television.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I agree for sure. My final thought is I agree with a lot of what you both had to say. It's an excellent show. The fact that it's grounded in reality, I think that was needed. I think with Marvel over the years, when you watch all the movies, you see all the fantasy stuff, the magic and all this other stuff. That's cool. They still found ways to make you care about the characters and make some of the situations realistic, especially when people died. But to see how the characters deal with life outside of their costumes, I think we need to see a lot more of that. So at least with WandaVision, we did see some of that as well. So I will give WandaVision a little bit of credit as well. I don't completely dislike the show. I thought it was still an excellent show.
No, it's a good show. It just took a while to get going. That's all.
Yeah.
But the show's great. Like, especially those last 2 episodes. Woo!
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
But the way that Winter Soldier started, they got me pumped for the next 5 episodes. So thumbs up.
Very cool. And then remember, we're getting Agent 13. We're going to get Zemo. So there's a lot of different people who will be coming in. The guy who you was talking about, his name, he was Lieutenant Torres. His name is Danny Ramirez. And apparently, he idolizes Sam, which is he took the mantle of the Falcon in the comics. So it's nice how they're just really great research and how they're just putting in these characters. So yeah, there will be a lot more to see. And also, very interesting, the Flag Smashers. They are kind of inspired by the people of the Proud Boys.
Oh no! Whoa!
Be careful there.
Yeah, be very careful. Proceed with caution.
Mm-hmm. So that is also how we'll get another thing of race in America and one world isms.
So it looks to me like this is a very conveniently timed show
This
with the subject matter.
See, I also interviewed the writer, which we'll post next week.
Okay, all right.
No, they really took their cues from what's going on now in today's society. A lot of the Black Lives Matter, a lot of the different movements that's going on, especially how it relates to Black America. Remember, Sam is Black, so they took a lot of cues of that. So we're gonna see that play out as well. It's gonna get really grounded and really serious. It's really nice to go and fight the dude from space, but this is about fighting the enemies at home. So that should be really interesting. And, I think that the next 5 episodes are going to be great. I'm kind of sad that it's only 5 episodes, but I think that if they really continue in the trajectory that they're doing now, that it should create for a really compelling, really well-knit story where anything, things are not dragged out. We have to say, well, that was a dull episode. So hopefully, that's how things will go. So any other final thoughts, guys?
Rich, anything, man?
Oh, no. I just say definitely check out the show if you have Disney Plus. Definitely check out Dana's interview with Kevin Feige, as well as the interview with the cast and her review, which she both posted up yesterday on the Koalition. So check out all the coverage for sure and stay tuned for more on the show.
Yeah, remember, this is not a one-off, people. We're gonna be covering every episode, so stay tuned. It's gonna be fun.
That'll be the spoiler review, not the
Yes.
spoiler review.
You know, we spoiling.
Spoiling everything now. So yeah, join us again next week, and we will break down episode 2, give you our thoughts. I'm excited for this. Yay, we got a TV show, and we'll be covering more. And we'll also check out Mr. Polanco over at the Throwdown, over on Twitch and YouTube and all of these socials that you should start plugging right now.
Yeah. All right. So you guys can find me on the Twitters at Romudeth. That's ROMUDETH. And in my bio, you'll find links to all my stuff. I write for PC Mag and Laptop Mag, and I host Throwdown on Thursdays and Sundays at 10:30 p.m. Eastern. Thursday is the show where we cover all the week's gaming news, and Sunday is where we answer your questions. So stay tuned. Also, got to plug our upcoming. We haven't filmed it yet, but plugging our upcoming I'm talking about everybody in this room, our upcoming spoiler review of the Snyder Cut. That's going to be very interesting, to quote Richard. You know,
the greatest movie to ever exist.
Wow, greatest movie. I don't know about that, but yeah,
I'm excited right now.
Good stuff.
So, once again, thank you everyone for joining. We'll be back soon. Check us out tomorrow. We'll be recording and talking about the Zack Snyder Justice League. Thank you once again, and everyone have a great day, morning, evening, afternoon, whenever time you're checking us out. Peace. Fly. Fly, Falcon. Fly.